This is your Fox 10 News Now update.
Hi everyone, I'm Lenny Slagan with your Fox 10 News Now update. As you probably already know, there are two systems in the Atlantic right now that could potentially enter the Gulf and come towards this way. Having the proper supplies on hand, that is key to being ready during any hurricane season. FEMA is recommending that you stock up. We're talking the basics here, like water, a gallon they say per person per day, non-perishable food items, a flashlight, a battery powered or hand crank radio, extra batteries, fuel, and money. A first aid kit is helpful, as is a 7-day supply of all of your necessary medications. Of course, with the coronavirus, the CDC is also recommending that you put hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes, if you can find them, in your kits, and also some face coverings. We have a full list of the suggested supplies, though, for you. That'll be on fox10tv.com. An update now to some breaking news. Bond has been set, $60,000 for a Foley High School teacher arrested on child pornography charges. Deputies searching Christopher Bridges' Gulf Shores apartment, and they say they found obscene pictures on electronic devices. Investigators say this case started with a tip that came back in May. If Bridges makes bond, he'll have to be under GPS house arrest, and he won't be allowed to have any contact with anyone under the age of 19 or access to the internet. According to Bridges' school bio page, he's been a teacher for 24 years, 20 of those teaching history at Foley High School. Baldwin County Superintendent Eddie Tyler telling Fox 10 News Bridges has been placed on administrative leave. Well, in Mobile, bond set at $60,000 for a 65-year-old Michael Sook. Investigators say he requested explicit pictures and videos from what he thought was a 15-year-old online. But they say when he went to meet up with the teen, well, state agents were there instead. If Sook makes bond, he will be under electronic monitoring. Due back in court, however, for an arraignment hearing. That will be next Thursday. All right, moving on now, another former Pritchard Chief of Staff, James Blackman, has been sentenced to 12 months and 1 day in federal prison, also ordered to pay $200,000 in restitution, followed by 3 years of supervised release. Earlier this year, Blackman pleaded guilty to stealing from taxpayers and committing money laundering. He doesn't yet have a date to report to prison.
Hey there, everyone. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Lambers checking in first thing on the tropics. 3 different areas to focus on so far for today. We do have a wave that's just off the coast of Africa, looking at a 30% chance of development. Let's go ahead and focus on these two systems that we currently have. We have Tropical Storm Laura, but then also we do have Tropical Depression 14, which is expected to strengthen into a Tropical Storm Marco later on this evening. First off, let's go ahead and check out the tracks for these two systems, because we are expecting something historic with them as they do enter into the Gulf of Mexico at the same time, and expected to pick up that Category 1 hurricane strength simultaneously in the Gulf and just passing right along next to each other. We are expecting that landfall midweek by the time we get into next week. But let's go ahead and break them down even further, focusing on Tropical Storm Laura. First off, for this latest advisory coming out at 1 p.m. this afternoon, so those sustained winds 45 miles per hour, still keeping that tropical storm strength and continuing on that movement. But right now, as we check out what that track is currently looking like, expected to enter back into the Gulf of Mexico by Monday afternoon and expected to be further towards that landfall later on Wednesday. So it's taken a little bit of a westerly shift, which is interesting to see with this, and we will be keeping a close eye on it as that track is again shifting further off towards the west, closer towards Louisiana, off of us. We will be on that front right quadrant, which will be a rainmaker and also bringing strong winds to the Gulf Coast. So again, still far out. All eyes need to be on this system as it does approach closer. It's expected to be that Category 1 hurricane strength. Checking now in on Tropical Storm, or what we do have for 14, that's going to be Tropical Depression 14. At that latest advisory coming out at 4 p.m., the sustained winds just below that tropical storm strength at 35 miles per hour. Checking in on that projected track, though, it is expected to also enter into the Gulf by Monday. And with that track, it will have it heading towards the coast of Texas. Expected to get there by Tuesday and Wednesday. So again, both these storms at the Gulf at the same time next week. It'll be an interesting thing to watch. Now, this one also taking a westerly turn for that track at the latest advisory. And we'll be watching these very closely as they're both impeding on one another and how they interact with one another as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of the models that we do have. This is going to be the futurecast for the European model. Watching both of these systems as they continue to track further towards Sunday afternoon, when we do have Tropical Depression 14 entering into the Gulf. Tropical Storm Laura still affecting the Caribbean regions right over Cuba and Jamaica by Sunday afternoon. But as we continue further on into the beginning of the week on Monday, that's where we start to see both of these systems looking strong and both expected to be Category 1 hurricanes at this point by Monday evening. So an important thing to watch. Going to be rocking up the Gulf quite a bit as these storms are kind of fighting for what they will get from that moisture and the warm temperatures of the Gulf. Tropical Depression 14, though, expected to enter into a high shear environment and is expected to get back down to tropical storm strength just before that landfall. But again, that European model showing that the track on what we're watching Tropical Storm Laura, what will be Hurricane Laura by this point, is heading further off towards our west. So making that landfall closer towards Louisiana. But again, this is by midweek next week, still many days out. We'll keep an eye on that track, and it is expected to head further on into the southeast and move up towards Tennessee. But checking in on our storm names, again, we're moving through these. Laura is what we're currently at next. Tropical Depression 14, if it does get that name, it will be Marco. Now, as we check in on conditions locally so far for this afternoon, just been seeing a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. As we continue further on into the evening, though, we do have the potential by 7 p.m. Overnight, can't rule out any isolated showers, especially around midnight, moving on through. By tomorrow morning, we're looking at those coastal spotty showers and thunderstorms picking up again by the time we get to the mid-time tomorrow for your Saturday. That'll continue further on into your Saturday evening and your Saturday night. So that typical summer-like pattern is sticking around for your Saturday. Daytime highs tomorrow, upper 80s, lower 90s, going to be scattered by the time we get into the afternoon. But checking out that full 7-day outlook, Saturday looking to be the best day of the week. 30% rain chances, going to be staying temperatures in the upper 80s, but we do keep an eye on those tropical impacts possible by next week. Most likely ramping up those rain chances in near 70 and 80%. We'll keep an eye on those and we'll keep you updated here on Fox 10 News.
Stay tuned to Fox 10 News throughout the day for the latest updates. This has been your Fox 10 News Now update.